The Joe Rogan Experience.
Okay, what was... Tell what happened with didn't you have someone hostage? Can you talk about that?
Yeah,
Can you talk about
in
what happened?
1987, I was 27 years old, whatever. I was working in Boulder. I was going to school at night, and I was snorting coke with 3 hands. You know? And I fucking got involved with some kid, and he was going to rob his roommate, and ended up robbing them, both of them. And then the guy that I had as a partner was going to rob me. What a tangle web we weave when we tangle to deceive. And it just so happens that the guy got caught. Like I told him the guy I didn't want nothing to do with it, even though I had the coke with me. I sent the coke to Aspen, but the other guy, the guy that tried to rob me, he ended up getting pulled over with the guy we kidnapped in the trunk of his car, all fucking bandled up and shit. So I got arrested for the kidnapping too and everything. But you know what? I fucked up. It wasn't because I fucked up. It wasn't because America. Listen, bro, at 10 to 7, I got a ticket this morning for $200.
10 to 7?
10 to 7 this morning while
For what?
both of you motherfuckers were sleeping. I was going to Tai Chi at 7, so I had to drive there. So my wife said, if you have to go to Tai Chi at 7, you might as well drop me off at the train station. I usually walk her every morning to the train station. But I drove her. There was a lunch truck there. I couldn't pull over, so I pulled by where she crosses the street. When I made the right, when I made the left, there was a cop on me. He goes, bro, the bus driver's complaining. He goes, it's a $1,000 ticket. I have to give you a $200 ticket for parking instead. Is that okay? And I took the ticket, and I was not angry at him. I went to Tai Chi. I did my thing. I didn't mention it. He did his job. This is America. He did his fucking job. You follow what I'm saying to you? A lot of people got pissed off at this guy for pulling me over. He did his fucking job. You know, when I kidnapped that guy, I kidnapped him. I did that. I got 4 years. I got off fucking easy. They should have thrown me in there for 10 fucking years. But people don't really see
How much time did you actually do?
18 months, 16 months.
That's a long time.
But it cost me 2 years of my life. You don't know what your life, how precious
Was it horrible?
No,
They
it wasn't
throw-
horrible. I
was
could do it standing on my head. But the only people
that's
that
gangster talk. I could do that
the
time
only
standing on my head,
Listen, when
cocksucker.
you do time, bro, and you do time, guys like you don't. It's just another day in paradise. They're gonna take us to a place where we get the bullshit about jiu-jitsu instead of 2 hours a day, 8 hours a day. You follow me, and you eat and whatever. Your freedom gets lost, which sucks. But it's the people at home. It's not you or whatever. I could do whatever the fuck I get. Bro, my genes are from Cuba, motherfucker.
Tell me about...
I smoked the weed Castro smoked before he went to the mountains to take over. You understand me?
Now, what was a typical day in prison like for you? Like at that 6 months, you're in there 6 months. What's a typical day?
Living like a doctor.
You liked it?
Bro, you got to remember, I went to prison for 4 years. I got sentenced, but guess what I became? I became a stand-up comic. I learned how to do stand-up comedy
in prison.
On Thursday
What?
nights, they used to have movie night.
I didn't even know that.
Dog, they used to have movie night on Thursday night. So the projector would always fuck up, like Ustream. It would always fuck up.
Joey, talking to the microphone.
It would always fuck up. So on Thursdays, the people just jokingly, I would always go, what the fuck is wrong with the projector? And everybody would say, Cuba, get up there and talk. So I would go up there on Thursday nights. It was, it was 200 people, and like 100 of them were black. So they go, Cuba, go up there and talk. And I would make fun of the black guys. And
Like, what would you say?
We'd make fun of the kitchen. Like the fucking kitchen.
This is the beginnings of your stand-up career.
This is the beginning of my stand-up.
What'd you say?
We used to make fun of. I used to be.
That's how the movie starts.
Bro, the first day in prison, they made me a baker. You don't tell people what you want. It's like Cuba. Like, yeah, on the outside, I was a mechanic. Really? Well, in here, you're a baker. You know what I'm saying? Here's a book. Learn how to make bagels. And I made these cinnamon rolls, dog, that almost blew up the kitchen, right? These motherfuckers were big. So that afternoon, they fired me as a baker. And they made me a fucking dishwasher and a stockroom clerk, right? So I was a dishwasher and a stockroom clerk. And whenever they had shitty meals, the guys I knew, when they were going through the line, I would yell, don't do it. So I would go, don't do it.
How often were the meals bad?
3 times a week. But it didn't matter because at lunchtime, I was allowed to go to the store for 15 minutes. I worked it out where I had to drive to take garbage out, so I would go to the store for 15 minutes. Not only that, I would call in my order at the Chinese restaurant, so it would be ready by the time I got there. So I would go back to the prison with Chinese food and groceries. That's how strong I was in there. Plus, dog, I didn't fuck around in there.
Dog.
Plus, they were doing steroids and selling drugs.
In prison?
Please, like a motherfucker. So I was in the stockroom clerk, so they had to pay me rent. So because they never inspected
So you
the
stocked
stockroom.
You stocked the
I would say to
roids.
you, yeah, I'll hold your roids, but you got to give me
Oh, my
you got to give me $3. You know what I'm saying? Give me $3. It's all about dollars.
You got to give me some cigarettes.
So I had roids, cigarettes, I had pills in there. They weren't mine. They just belonged to other people, but you put them under pallets. So I would give them a key whenever they needed to go take shit out.
So you were the connection.
I was the holder. Plus,
How did they get the steroids in? Somebody had to put it up their ass?
yeah, whatever. I don't know. They got a bag. I don't know. I never
Could
asked.
you imagine
But that
shooting
was
a steroid into your body?
Wait,
that
so
somebody
someone?
had up his
How did they
ass?
smuggle it in again?
Up their
because they
ass.
were contact.
And then they put it where?
They're contact visits.
Right.
What you do is you take your fucking kid and you fill his pockets with the yum-yums, and while you're making out with your husband, you say, you want to see the kid? You pass the kid to the husband, and he takes the drugs out, then he gives you back the ugly kid.
Man,
All right.
that makes me so
That's how Henry Hill did it. That's how they do it. Same shit. Bro, there's more drugs on the inside than there was on the outside. And to boot, this was a minimum security camp. We had contact visits. When you have a contact visit, there's parties every night. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers. That's the first time I did it. No, I was like the second time I did heroin was in prison. And I couldn't do a needle. So the Mexicans took a Mexican thing of heroin, melted it, and I had to put like a funnel in my nose made out of paper, and they dripped it in my nose. And I got up, I had like candle wick burning out of my nose. What the fuck is this? And they're like, that's heroin, man. Be cool. I was like this for like a day. And then the white dudes, the bikers, would give me speed. And they would play basketball all fucking night on speed, the bikers. They'd be out there for Hell's Angels, fouling each other and shit. Really? And I'd be out there with them huffing and puffing. Every week was a new adventure. I did every drug, but the drug of every.
This is crazy.
Oh, this
You
is
had a
crazy.
great time. It was like college.
I was out there fucking. I got this. I fucking.
They could be, dude.
Somebody needs to produce
That's
a
a movie.
movie.
Oh my
That's
God,
the
you have
movie.
no fucking
Minimum
idea.
security prison where everyone's partying and it's just the greatest time ever. And it's like upon like when you get you get released, it's like terrible.
I wanted to
It's
go.
like you
No,
die.
then I went to
It's
the
like a funeral.
House, which was even
You
better.
got to talk in the mic. People keep complaining about the sound.
I was when I got into the halfway house, it was even better because I started loaning money out to the Invics as a loan shark.
The Invics?
Yeah, because they want to go out, but if your rent's not paid on Thursday, you're not allowed for the weekend. So the rent would be $65, so I give them $65 for 92. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to give you $65, but you got to give me 92 tomorrow. And I had 10 guys on that row. Bro, I was a fucking machine in there. The biggest scam I had at the camp, was there was an old Italian dude from Brooklyn. He was like a half a mobster, and he had pool cards. And he would only do one card a week. He would make like $30. And I went up to him and I go, bro, you have a problem with these cards. I go, you're giving them to white guys. You're not getting the black population. You're not getting the fucking spics. And he goes, I don't know. They won't talk to me. I said, give me the fucking cards. We're going to go partners. He went from selling one card every Monday to doing 10 with me. Because I had the brothers, I had the youngs, I had the Puerto Ricans, I had the whites, I had everybody. And it was amazing. That's why I really learned that I could really fucking do this. So on Thursday nights, they would say, Cuba, fuck the movie. Just go up there and talk about the kitchen. And they would all the yams would yell, don't do it. It was hysterical. It was fucking hysterical. And I would just talk about that. And then I had this one crazy black guy. This guy was Anton Spencer. His name was Spencer Antoine from New Orleans. And he was crazy. And he told me that he was in there for 8 years for involuntary manslaughter. And he was my mentor. That was my dog, Jack. He was fucking nuts. And he would tell me about, like one day some guy nailed him $2. And he comes in the kitchen. He goes, did you see that guy? And I go, no, I think he's packing and leaving. This motherfucker went and got a knife. He got him at the gate. The guy was getting out of jail. He's like, motherfucker, you better give him my $2. I was blown away. I'm like, this guy was old. And his parents and family had money. They had like the best attorney from, bro, this guy killed somebody with his hands. And he got 8 years. Wow. Beat a black guy in L.A., downtown L.A., because I was in the federal place. He beat him with his fucking hands and got 8 years. And he did 4 for involuntary manslaughter. He had like $50,000 attorneys, this guy, but he had a knife. He had a gold tooth in his mouth. He was one of those brothers and shit that his eyes would go crazy. I went in there every Thursday. I get on stage, and then one day, this is fucked up, Joe Rogan. This is why I really dig you. Because one day, the guy in the library was like a nerdy dude. The guy that ran the library, and I was friends with him. We did acid. He was very into Nostradamus, and he was intelligent, but he had some problem or something. He went to prison. And the funny thing was that one day he came up to me in the jail, and a notebook was a big thing. And I was getting ready to get out, and I never even thought about it. He came up to me one day, and he goes, hey, bro, I got your notebook. And I go, what's the notebook for? He goes, so when you get out, you can write some jokes. He goes, every week you write jokes. I never see the notebook. And I looked at him and I go, I don't even write. And this motherfucker went nuts. He goes, you don't write and you go up there every week and do that? He goes, when you get out of here, it was like an angel. It was like an angel. I never seen the guy again. I never heard from him again. He just goes, what I watch you do, you really need to write and get it together.
Wow.
Because you have a gift. Just pursue this. And that guy never even talked to me. Like, he never used to talk to me at all.
Just said it out of the blue.
Out of the blue. Came up to me one day and goes, hey,
Wait,
man, I got
wait.
your notebook.
The black guy, right?
No,
You're
a
talking
white
about?
guy, a white nerdy
different guy. Oh,
that was
okay.
like a really nerdy guy that would always roll his own cigarettes.
So some random guy came up to you
Random
and told you,
guy,
he goes,
bro.
you got talent. You should
Yeah, like
pursue it."
in the
Do you
library.
do you think that if you didn't go to prison, if you didn't have that experience of talking in front of those people, that you probably never would have done stand up, or was stand up something that was in the back of your head anyway?
It was in the back of my head. The prison really woke the animal up because not
Oh, you
only
thought
that,
about it before.
I had thought, bro, if anybody
Because you had to be funny before prison, right?
Anybody who heard
Yeah.
"The Nigga's Crazy" by Richard Pryor, you had to think of. He pushed it so hard in that.
So,
if you-
but before prison,
I
you were
thought
always the
about
life of the party and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I thought I was always good at the deli. I was always
You love
good.
telling stories.
Yeah, I was always good with that shit. And then the thing that really got me was when you go to prison, they do a diagnostic on you. And I like to get an attorney now to really, that's the only thing that irks me about my life. Like a lot of times people say, oh, I slept with this guy. With me is I always wanted to know what was on that paperwork because it was an intense psychological evaluation. It just wasn't a guy with a piece of paper saying, what do you think when you see a star? Like they put shit in my head and electrodes and all this shit. It was 3 days of mental testing. And it was eating me alive. And I wanted to know. I kept asking the counselor, who was from Mississippi. He hated black people. He hated spics. He told me to my face. My counselor told me, he goes, I hate all you bug fuckers, spics and nigger. I mean, that's how he told me. That was my counselor.
Oh, my
And he said to
God.
me, he goes, I go, bro, his name was Mr. Blue. I go, when are you going to fucking tell me what's on there? And one day he's like, you really want me to tell you what's on here, bug fucker? That's what he would call me to my face, bug fucker. He goes, I'll tell you what's on here, Mr. Bug fucker. It said that if you really wanted something and I had it, that you would take it from me. He goes, now you do what the fuck you want with that. And he threw me out of his office. And I felt like a thief for 3 days. That's what I read it at. But what he was trying to tell me was that anything I wanted in my life, that's what it said, that I could do. Anything you want, dog, you could do. Do it. That's what he was saying. That's what he was trying to beat around. And like
By calling you a bug fucker?
No, by saying what he said to me.
Right,
And a week later, he came up to me and he goes, hey, did you understand where I was going with that? He goes, you're a smart guy. You're not one of these guys. This is an experience. For you.
Tell us about your first stand-up gig. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it.
What made you go up that night?
Do you consider the ones in prison your first stand-up gigs?
I'm talking about first official at a club, like your
Right.
first time you went up.
But I'm thinking that if you did it, how many times did you do it in prison? You really were doing like open mic night.
I was doing every Thursday for
For
about
sure,
90
dude.
days.
If that's not a movie,
So you've
I don't
done
know
a
what
bunch
is.
of times.
Nah,
So you
but,
had
bro,
like
it was-
material? Did you have material planned out? Did you have stuff that you repeated? No.
What was the
Yeah,
first
that's
club?
the toughest fuck. Can you imagine repeating a joke in front of those yams
Yeah.
and shit and all those crazy
Yeah.
roped out Mexicans? That's the first time I really knew about the whole heritage, and they would sneak in fucking green chili burritos, tremendous.
Really?
Bro, I was in jail.
Who had the best tattoo artists? Was it the Mexicans?
Mexicans.
Mexicans always have wild
And I
ass
was in
fucking
jail
prison
with
tattoos.
3 generations of Mexicans at one time. I was in jail with the grandfather, the Ayelas, the father, and the son.
Whoa.
That's really,
That's
once
deep.
you start seeing that thing, you're
That's
like,
deep.
wow.
That needs to be in a movie right there.
I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And I always wanted to shoot somebody and be a criminal up to that point. I didn't, I always thought about that my life deserved more than to spend it in here. That's what prison did for me, bro. It was, if people come up to me and go, how bad was prison? Prison is how bad you make it for me, for fucking me. It opened my eyes. I became a stand-up comic.
Son.
We are broadcasting to iTunes.
Oh shit, iTunes.
We're recording to server.
Get the fuck out of here, server.